The air crackled with drunken laughter. King Belshazzar, ruler of Babylon, was hosting a lavish feast. Gold and silver goblets overflowed with wine. 1,000 lords feasted, their voices echoing off the palace walls. The revelry was intoxicating. Belshazzar, flushed with pride and wine, ordered the sacred vessels from Jerusalem's temple brought in. These holy objects, plundered years ago, were now used for drunken revelry, a sacrilege, a provocation. Suddenly a hush fell over the hall. A ghostly hand appeared, writing strange words on the palace wall. Panic seized the king, his face drained of color. He trembled, his knees knocking. The revelry ceased. The music stopped. The courtiers stared in terror at the ethereal hand writing its cryptic message. Belshazzar called for his advisors, his astrologers, his wise men. None could decipher the strange writing. Then, Daniel was brought before the king. Daniel, a man of God, captive in Babylon, was known for his wisdom and insight. He looked at the writing, his brow furrowed in concentration. The message was clear. It was a divine judgment, a warning of imminent destruction. Mene, tekel, parsin, Daniel declared. He explained the chilling meaning. God has numbered the days of your reign and brought it to an end. You have been weighed in the balances and found wanting. Your kingdom will be divided and given to the Medes and Persians. That very night, Belshazzar, the arrogant king, was slain. The mighty Babylonian empire fell. Centuries later, the story of Belshazzar's feast still resonates. It serves as a chilling reminder of the fragility of power and the consequences of pride and decadence. Today, some see unsettling parallels in modern America. The United States, a nation built on faith and freedom, seems to be straying from its founding principles. Materialism, division, and moral decay are rampant. Could this be our Belshazzar's feast, a sign of impending judgment? Many point to the erosion of traditional values. The sanctity of life is under attack. The family unit is crumbling, truth is relative and morality is subjective. The pursuit of wealth and pleasure has become paramount. We are bombarded with messages that celebrate self-indulgence and instant gratification. The pursuit of happiness, once envisioned as a journey of virtue and service, has devolved into a narcissistic quest for personal fulfillment. The echoes of Belshazzar's feast are also evident in our political landscape. Division and polarization are rampant. Political discourse has become toxic, fueled by anger, resentment, and a thirst for power. Truth is often sacrificed at the altar of expediency. Compromise is seen as weakness. The common good is often overshadowed by self-interest. This toxic brew threatens the very fabric of our democracy. Furthermore, America's global standing seems to be waning. Our military might, while still formidable, is stretched thin. Our economic dominance is challenged by rising powers. Our moral leadership, once a beacon of hope, is questioned and criticized. The world watches, some with concern, others with glee, as America grapples with internal strife and external challenges. Could this be the beginning of our decline, the first tremors of a coming earthquake? Interpreting the signs of the times is a complex and often controversial endeavor. Some view current events through a prophetic lens, seeing in them the fulfillment of ancient scriptures. They point to natural disasters, social unrest, and geopolitical shifts as evidence of an approaching apocalypse. Others dismiss such interpretations as alarmist and misguided, urging caution against reading too much into current events. It is important to approach such discussions with humility and discernment. While the Bible does speak of a time of tribulation and judgment, it also emphasizes God's mercy and love. It is not for us to set dates or predict specific events. Rather, we are called to live in a state of watchful readiness, trusting in God's sovereignty and grace. However, it would be foolish to ignore the warning signs altogether. The story of Belshazzar reminds us that pride and decadence can lead to downfall. It urges us to examine our own hearts and our nation's direction. Are we clinging to our own strength and wisdom, or are we seeking guidance from God? Are we pursuing justice and righteousness, or are we consumed by self-interest and greed? The writing on the wall may not be a literal message from heaven, but it can be a metaphor for the consequences of our choices. If we ignore the warning signs, we do so at our own peril. If we fail to learn from history, we are doomed to repeat it. The story of Belshazzar is not a prediction of inevitable doom, but a call to repentance and renewal. America stands at a crossroads. The path we choose will determine our destiny. Will we continue down the path of self-indulgence and division, or will we return to the principles that made our nation great? Will we heed the warnings of history, or will we repeat the mistakes of the past? The challenges we face are daunting, but not insurmountable. The human spirit is resilient. Our capacity for love and compassion is boundless. We have overcome adversity before, and we can do so again. But it will require a collective effort, a willingness to put aside our differences and work together for the common good. We must rediscover the values that once guided our nation: faith, family, freedom, and responsibility. We must reject the allure of materialism and embrace the virtues of hard work, sacrifice, and service. We must rebuild our communities, strengthen our families, and restore our faith in God. The task ahead is not easy, but it is essential. The future of our nation and perhaps the world hangs in the balance. The writing is on the wall not as a decree of inevitable doom, but as a call to action. It is a reminder that our choices have consequences, and that the time for complacency is over. We need to look around. The signs are everywhere. Our national debt is soaring, a testament to our insatiable appetite for spending beyond our means. Our social fabric is fraying, torn apart by political polarization, racial tensions, and economic inequality. Our moral compass seems to be spinning, with truth and justice sacrificed at the altar of expediency and self-interest. These are not mere abstract concepts. They are real-world problems with real-world consequences. Families struggling to make ends meet, communities ravaged by opioid addiction and gun violence, children growing up in broken homes, deprived of hope and opportunity. These are the writing on our wall, a stark reminder of the human cost of our national decline. Ignoring these problems will not make them disappear. Blaming others will not solve them. The only way forward is to acknowledge our shortcomings, take responsibility for our actions, and work together to find solutions. We must rediscover the spirit of unity and purpose that once animated our nation. This is not a call for despair, but a call for action. It is a reminder that we, the people, have the power to shape our destiny. We can choose to ignore the writing on the wall and continue down a path of decline, or we can choose to heed the warning, change course, and build a better future for ourselves and our children. The story of Belshazzar's feast is a timeless parable about the dangers of pride, decadence, and the abuse of power. It is a story that transcends time and place, resonating with eerie relevance in our modern world. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, we would be wise to heed its lessons. Our response to the writing on our wall will determine our fate. We can choose to be passive observers, content to watch as our nation crumbles, or we can choose to be active participants in our own destiny. We can choose to be agents of change, working to rebuild our communities, restore our values, and reclaim our national soul. The choice is ours. Will we be remembered as the generation that allowed America to fade into obscurity, or will we be remembered as the generation that rose to the challenge, reversed the tide, and ushered in a new era of peace, prosperity, and justice? This is our call to action. Let us not delay. Let us not be found wanting. Let us rise to the occasion and write a new chapter in the American story, a chapter filled with hope, courage, and renewed commitment to the principles that made our nation great. Let us share this message with others. Let us discuss these issues openly and honestly. The time for action is now.